Hello, so welcome back to part two of lesson number one. So we're gonna continue here with graphing equations. We're gonna be doing a graphing using a table of value. We're gonna start with with an example, obviously. So just like as usual, let's do an example with part D here. So a given equation here is 2x minus y is equal to 4. So in this problem here, we just have to apply the concept we've run in part one of this lesson. Isolate or solve for y in this case. So solve for y. By solving for y, simply have to just move that over. If I want to do a clean solution here, you can just add y on both sides. By adding y on both sides, this will go to 0. And so this is just 2x is equal to 4 plus y. And then you can move that over, or you can just subtract -4 on both sides. By doing so, you get that y is now 2x minus 4. And this is what we need to use to make a table of value. Now, when making a table of value, you must understand that the x value is the independent variable. What does it mean to be independent? Well, it means that x can be anything. And your y value depend on x. So let's put our value x and y, because I said y is independent and can be anything you want. So I can start the values of x to start from 0, 1, 2, 3. We just want to plot the line, right? So you want to make it a big deal. So try to choose easy numbers for scenarios like this. So to find the value of y, simply plug in, right? So y is equal to 2 times bracket minus 4. So what goes in that bracket is essentially a 0. So this will be a basis to do the rest. So this is -4. So the next one, if you put in +1, you get -3. No. If you put in +1, you get -2. And you put in 2, you get 0. And if you put in 3, you get 2. Well, I hope, well, if you want, you can check that out by using a calculator or whatever ways you want to do that. But the idea is simply replace x with a 1, you get the value of y. So let's go ahead and plot these points. 0, -4. Use purple color. 0, -4, 1. So here is 0. And then -4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's -4 right here. And then 1, -2. 1, -2 right here. And then 2, 0. 2 zeros right here. And then 3, 2. 3, 2. So 3, 1, 2. And that is our line. And as you can see, this line is the perfect straight line. And the equation for this line is 2x minus y is equal to 4. That's it. And that's how you graph a line using a table of value. So I'll leave the rest, part A, B, C, for students to try it out with themselves, because I believe that students learn best if they try questions on their own. You can pause the video, have this on your screen while you try part A yourself. It's very important that you try this yourself, because if you don't, the lesson will be pointless unless you try it yourself. Okay, moving on. Question number 8. So now, we want to graph using intercepts. So And let me explain the concept of this notion of intercepts. So in a graph, particularly for 2D graphs, we have, so this is a Cartesian plane, x and y. In a given equation of, we have x and y, the intercepts that we have are basically the x-intercept. So suppose you draw a line. Suppose you draw a line. This dot right here, this intercept right here, is so-called your x-intercept. And this one right here is your y-intercept. I like to use a lot of picture in mathematics and physics whenever I'm teaching those two subjects because pictures are necessary and it's very helpful. If you can imitate that habit of drawing pictures to try to understand a problem before solving it is very helpful. Okay, so finding x-intercept. So let's so now you know the big picture of how it looks like in the picture. So what is find x-intercept for any equation at all? So let's suppose we want to solve for x. To solve for x, is simply let y equals 0. And if you want to solve for y, we simply let x equals 0. Now, let's take an example to see if this actually makes sense. Part D I will use as an example. So if you have 3x minus 2y is equal to 6, how do we find the x-intercept? So the x-intercept, to find x-intercept, is simply let y equals 0. If let y equals 0, this implies, the symbol here means implies. So if you see me do this going forward, the symbol like this means implies. Implies that. It's just convenient to just use that logical, symbol to make math look beautiful. So this implies that 3x minus 2 times, because I know that y is 0 now, so replace y with 0, and that's equal to 6. And 2 times 0 is simply 0, so we have 3x is equal to 6. But we want 1x. We don't want 3x. We just want a single x. So by finding single x, you divide both sides by 3. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you will do to the other side. I think I've said that too many times enough if you've watched lesson number 1, part 1. So by the time when you solve for x, you just simply get 6 over 3. Some students usually find it difficult to just know how many 3s are in 6. And the idea is that you want to know how many 3s are in 6, but I can just say 3 times 2 divided by 3. And then you can see that 3 can cancel out 3, so x is simply a 2. This is the elementary way of reducing fractions to the lowest term. So just in case you are in grade 8 and you want to see how grade 9 looks like or grade 10 looks like, oh, this is pretty much how we deal with grade 9 students. But going forward, we'll become an expert soon, okay? So I hope you just keep watching all our videos and you see how things are done. So this is how you solve find the x-intercept by letting y equal 0. Then what about the y-intercept? The y-intercept, simply let x equals 0. If you let x equal 0, then this implies that 3x minus 2y equals 6. So if you put in x equals 0, in this case, you're going to get 3 times 0 minus 2 times, well, this is going to be y is equal to 6. So 3 times 0 is simply 0, so you don't have to write that. So this is negative 2y is equal to 6. Dividing both sides by negative 2 because we want just one y. So 1y is simply 6 over negative 2. 6 over negative 2 is the same thing as 6 times 3 times 2. 3 times 2 divided by negative 2. So this cancels with this. You have y is simply equal to negative 3. I'll do this method a few times until you guys get comfortable with skipping that part, because this is supposed to be a prerequisite skill that you must have from grade 9 if you're going to be taking grade 10 classes. Okay. All right. So if you are in person, I'll probably be pausing and making sure you understand it. So basically, if you graph these, once you have the x-intercept and y-intercept, here is your x-intercept, don't forget. This is your x-intercept. And this one right here is your y-intercept. Once you have these, you can easily graph the line. So your x-intercept is 2. So I claim that 2 is here. And then negative 3 is somewhere here. So you just connect these 2 dots and you're finished. It's as simple as that. Using the x-intercepts. That's it. All right. So please feel free to pause the video and try. I'm gonna zoom out to the max. I'll just pause here. I mean, you pause the video and try out part A, B, or C. Try that out using exactly the same steps. It should work out fine. And please, as I always say, you should try questions out yourself because it's very helpful. It helps you understand or comprehend the material rather. So I will pause here and because I need 15 minutes for each video. And I will see you guys in the next video. And that will be lesson number 1, part 3. All right, that will be all. See you guys on the next video. Bye now.